Hi everyone, welcome back to our new video. One more lesson is there to complete for your annual exam, that is lesson 5 program coding. Okay, so this lesson, it's a very important lesson because next year onwards, that is grade 9 and grade 10, that is the basics of program coding we are studying from this chapter onwards. Okay, so study well, up to date, read the lesson properly, and if you have any doubt, clear it in that moment itself. Okay, that is, you can contact me through WhatsApp and clear it. Okay, because this is the basics of programming we are studying from this lesson. And next year onwards, complete programming only you are having. Okay, so very seriously take this lesson and study well. Okay, so program coding, we already learned computers, different components, the networking, and one programming language we already discussed in grade 6 and 7, that is HTML, hypertext markup language. Okay, that we designing, web page designing, programming, how to write a program to design a web page, that we studied. Okay, some basics of HTML only we discussed. So now in this lesson program coding, we are going to discuss a new programming language. Okay, that is Java. Okay, so different programming languages are there, but here we are discussing, or our main programming language is Java. Okay, so programming, that enough and more time I said, that is set of instructions that we are writing for doing a specific work, that is known as program. Okay, so a set of instructions, how to do, what to do, all the things if we write in a stepwise manner, or if the instructions we wrote, that set of instructions we are calling it as a program. Okay, and in this lesson we are discussing about how to write a program, the processing of writing and doing that specific work, that instruction we are writing, that writing process is known as program coding. Okay, hope you all clear what is program and what do you mean by program coding. The process, the set of instruction is known as program, and the process of creating or writing that program is known as program coding. Clear? First topic in our textbook, that is lesson 5 program coding, take page number 78. Okay, the first topic is in your textbook, what is programming, that I already explained you, that is the process of writing the instructions to solve a specific problem, that is known as program coding or programming. Okay, programming or program coding, both way you can say. Okay, so here we are going to discuss what is the need of writing this program or program coding, for what purpose we are doing this program coding. So computer, so each and everything if we want to click, so that particular instruction is written inside the software. That in that operating system itself, that's a program itself. That's a software means a program. That is a set of instruction wrote in the while creating that particular operating system. Okay, so if we are doing a activity, behind that we have to write the instruction. So it's on, it can't work. That is a electronic device, by itself it can't work, isn't it? So our users or those who create or generate that particular system, they have to set the instructions. According to that they will perform the actions. Okay, so now in this lesson, through this lesson we are going to study For a specific problem, how we can write the instructions. Okay, for doing a specific task, how we can create a program, how we can create a set of instructions that we can give to the system, and according to that instruction the system will work. Okay, for that what all things we have to look on, those things we are discussing in this chapter. Okay, so here in your textbook one example given here. Through that example they are explaining how or in which way we have to create a program, that is set of instructions how we are creating. Okay, here they are saying, so whenever a program, whenever desired in school itself, whenever we decide to create or develop a program, that is if it is a school activities, if you want to conduct an annual day, okay, annual day celebration, annual day program if we want to conduct, that you all know before that we have to decide what all things should be there or what all programs should be there in a program in that annual day, isn't it? The same way itself, if we got a task, okay, if we got a task, according to that task we have to think what to do, when to do and how to do, what will be the outcome. Those things we have to think of, isn't it? If you got a problem, mathematical problem to solve, when you got the question through the question paper, first of all you will think of what's the data given here and how it perform, how we have to write the steps and what will be the outcome. Finally the answer should be there, isn't it? According to the equations and all we will give the data and through that we will get an output. Isn't it? The same way itself, in a computer if we want to do a task, we have to think of behind that what all things we have to perform, what all the instructions we can give to the computer for doing or performing that particular task. Okay, in your textbook one example given here, that is one situation they created, that is in a classroom conducting a game with the two groups and all. Okay, I think it's a little bit confusion will arise if this example we are discussing. Okay, no problem, you just read out by yourself. Okay, here I am going to take another example. Okay, that is a mathematical problem we can take. Then it will be, I think it will be easy for you to understand the steps of programming. Okay, program code. Okay, let's assume if you got a question that is find out the perimeter of a rectangle. Perimeter of a rectangle. If you got that particular question, first of all what you will think of? First of all you just think of perimeter, that is equation first of all you will think of, isn't it? That is for finding the perimeter of a rectangle, the equation is what? 2 into L plus B, isn't it? So if you got the equation, that is this is the process or this is the operation you have to do. Without this equation whether you can find out? No, this equation you should know, and according to this equation if you want to perform this operation, what all things needed? You have to know what is the value of L and B. So in the particular question, if it is not mentioned, how you will find out this perimeter? You can't find out, isn't it? So if you got a problem, there should be a data. Okay, then only according to that data you can perform the operation or that particular task you can work out. Okay, so if the question is if the length is equal to 2 and breadth is equal to 5, find out the perimeter of a rectangle. Then that particular question is clear. And you got the data L and B. And if you have the equation, if you know the equation of finding perimeter, it will be easy for you to find out the output. Got it? So in this particular example, what all things needed? We want one input, isn't it? Input needed, and we will perform the one input. In short, input you can write down like that, okay? This is I, okay? Input, okay? And this is the process. So here you will get the, first of all you need the input and the process, which process you are going to perform, that also you have to identify. After that you have to find out the output. By doing this process you will get the output. For each and every task there should be an input will be there, process will be there, and an output will be there. Got it? That is the situation. So in your textbook page number 79 you can see the cycle, one input process cycle you can see, okay? So here just look on input, that is what all data or information is available or needed to reach at the final result. So here in this example, to reach the final result, that means to find out the perimeter of a rectangle, we need the data length and breadth, isn't it? So we find out the input first of all, and the next one is process, isn't it? That is, in that process the sub parties create space to hold data. First of all we have to save. If it is a computer system, we have to think of, first of all we have to save that particular length and breadth, these two data we have to save anywhere. Then only we can find out. System don't know in memory, in the system memory we have to keep it. Okay, then only system can take that particular data and perform the process. Okay, so we have to create a space. So if you want to send a pic of anything to your friend, first of all what you will do? If a homework page, otherwise assignment, whatever it is, if you want to take a, your friend ask you to send that pic, then first of all what you will do? You will take a pic, isn't it? Then that pic you have to store in your phone's memory, isn't it? With a name you will save it, okay, automatically, otherwise that particular mobile will generate a name and you will save it, isn't it? And after that you are sending that particular pic to your friend. So in between system, if it is a electronic machine, it have to save. That particular system want to save that particular data in somewhere, then only they can take it and do the actions. So we have to create some space to hold the data, okay? And the next one is, think of the operations or calculations to be carried out on data or with data. And after that what we will think of, what will be the equation, how to perform the action, how to do that specific task, those things we will think of. And after that determine the order of operations decided in step. Then here how you will find out? That is, order will be there for doing these process, 2 into L plus B. First of all you will do L plus B, that is 2 plus 5. After that result, that result you will multiply with 2, isn't it? Then you will got a final product, isn't it? So that steps how to do that order also, for that process also or that task also, some steps will you have to follow, okay, that you have to keep in your mind. And after that ensure that the final result of steps must give the correct desired result of result, okay? So here after that you have to think of, if you are doing like that way you will get that particular output properly, okay? According to that you have to arrange the process steps, okay? So simple example, hope you are clear with that example, okay? And finally what will happen? You will get the output. Got it? So this is it. Through a simple example, I explain how to write the steps for writing the program coding, that the steps how to write the program coding. So first of all, you need input, then a process should be there, and an output will be there. Okay, got it. So here the summarized steps, the program involves summarized here, steps are given here. Determine the input data, create space to hold input data, break down the process in small steps, also determine space requirement for any intermediate calculations, arrange the steps in a proper order. The final result must match the desired output. Okay, got it. So here the steps in explanation given here with that example. Thus a given example in the textbook, given example also you just read out. Okay, then it will be clear for you. Okay. So these all things you have to keep in your mind while doing or while starting a program coding. Got it? A simple example I told you. And if we are studying a English language or Malayalam language, otherwise if it is Hindi, for each and every language there should be a syntax will be there. Isn't it? If it is a English language, if you are starting a sentence, you have to first of all give the capital letter. After that, you will write the sentence with the small letters. If it is a nouns or specific nouns or something, you have to write in capital letters. And finally, you have to put the full stop. Some syntax that you have to follow from the lower grade. When you start learning this language, you are learning such things and isn't it? According to that, you are following. The same way itself, this computer programming language also, you are having some syntax. Otherwise, rules are there you have to follow while writing this programming. Okay, very careful. Again and again I am saying this is a very important lesson for you, because next year onwards throughout you are discussing or handling with this programming. Okay, so if you won't understand, if you won't get the idea how to, the basics of this programming, you can't write a single line of a program. Got it? So let's move to the components of a program. So next step we are going to step into this programming, that is the components of a program. So I already explained you what all things are there while writing a program. Okay, input should be there, process should be there, and output will be there. Okay. So, if we are look on the instructions, that is a program, you can see two types of instructions. We can categorize this into two types of instructions. That is the instructions that we are creating for handling this particular data. Okay, for handling this particular data, output also finally you will get a data itself. So for handling this particular data, we have to create a set of instructions, and to handle or doing the specific task also, you will have some set of instructions. Okay, so we can categorize the instructions into two, that is instructions that are for handling the data and instruction that we can use for handling the task. Okay, for that we can say that a program, you can say this combination of data and this work or the task. Okay, so you can say a program, you can say it's a combination of data and work for task. Okay, these two combination, if we are combined together, instructions we combine together, we will get a program. Got it? Hope you all clear this one. A program consists of a set of instructions that handling data and set of instruction handling the work. For that, some components related to this, some components are there in a program. Okay, so directly I am giving the components of a program, and one by one we can discuss. Then it will be clear for you what are the components of a program. Very important topic. Okay, sure question for your exam. Let's discuss the components of a program. So here you can see mainly 5 components are there for a programming, for a program, that is identifiers, literals, variables, operators, commands. Once again, identifiers, literals, variables, operators, commands. So, if you clearly understand what this each component of a program, then it will be very easy for you to create a program. Okay, so let's move to the first component, that is identifier. So in your textbook, page number 83, definition given here. Identifiers are the names given to identify different building blocks of a program, such as a variable, class, method, etc. I know when you read this definition, you won't understand anything. So just look on here. From that, through that example, previous example itself, I will tell you what this identifier means. For in a class, for identifying each and every one are having a name, isn't it? So when you call out that name, because of that name we are identifying each person, isn't it? Like the same way, if we are using a data, that is, I already told you, if you take a picture of something, if you are keeping it in the computer memory, you will give a specific name. If you are creating a folder, or already built in, you can see new folder, like that name you can see. And if you want change that particular name, and whenever you create a folders, new folder 1, new folder 2, like that, if it will be very difficult for you to find out a specific folder which you are searching, isn't it? If you name, if you give to that particular folder, then it will be easy for you to search and find out the data, isn't it? The same way, if we are using a particular data in a program for representing anything, you have to give a name to that. Okay, so here again I am just writing that example here. In that particular, our question is find out the perimeter with the length equal to 2 and breadth equal to 5. And here, what is the process here? 2 into L plus B, isn't it? So here, without this length and without giving this name B, L and B, we just give a name, isn't it? We are giving a name L, B, like that. Otherwise, for specifying here, we can give P. Okay, got it? So like that way, if we are giving a name, whenever you give a name to a particular data in a programming, that is known as identifiers. To identify a part or identify a variables that we can discuss later. For identifying, if we are specifying a name, that particular names we given, that is known as identifiers. Got it? So here the identifiers, that is names we give here L, B, P, like that. Otherwise for this you can give LEN. For representing breadth you can give BR. If it is perimeter, for representing you can give PR. It's your wish. You can give any name for representing that particular data. Okay, but while giving a name to that particular data, or anywhere, if you are specifying a name, you have to follow 6 rules. Okay, so if you are creating an identifier, you have to keep 6 rules in your mind. Very important thing. This one also very sure question for you for your exam. Okay, that is whenever you are learning this programming or program coding for degree or PG level, wherever it is, there should be a question this: what are the rules for identifiers? Okay, very important one. That is, whenever you are creating a name, these 6 rules are very important. According to that only you have to create a word in a program. Okay, very simple rules only. The first rule is, here you can see the first rule is, identifiers can have alphabets, digits, underscore and dollar sign. Only these characters only you can use while creating a identifier. That is, if you are going to create an identifier or a word in a program, your own word, okay, not by the system, some syntax will be there, not like that. If you are creating your own word for identifying any data, you have to give either small letter A to Z, otherwise capital letter A to Z, otherwise you can give the digits 0 to 9, any digits, combination of 0 to 9, any digits you can create, otherwise you can use underscore, not hyphen, both are different. Here A, if you are writing in the middle normal line, if it is, that is the middle of the line, it is a hyphen. And what do you mean by underscore? If you are writing this one in along with the normal line, that is known as underscore. Okay, both are different. Hyphen and underscore, both are different. Okay, if you wrote the hyphen, system will not accept this particular name as an identifier. Okay, so underscore, you can use underscore, and after that one more symbol or one more sign you can use, that is dollar sign. Okay, so only these group of these any characters you can use for creating an identifier. Okay, so here if I wrote L, whether it is an valid identifier? No, it's not a valid identifier. And if I wrote, if it is underscore B, it's an valid identifier. Got it? This is the first rule. Before writing the an identifier, you have to keep in your mind these all characters only you can use while creating an identifier. The second one is, identifier must not be a standard instruction of Java. That is, while we are writing a Java program, enough and more syntax, another built-in syntax will be there. Okay, so in that syntax some names you can see, if, else, while, do, break, like that some built-in instructions, words are there. Don't use such words as your own data's identifier. Okay, if it is a built-in words created by the Java program, don't use such words as an identifier. Okay, the next one is, and again you can see some words, literals, that is some words true, false, otherwise null, like that way some words, so specified words also there in a Java programming, that words also don't use as an identifier. Okay, and the next one, they must not begin with a digit. You can use the digits for creating an identifier, but don't use first, that is 9LB. It's an invalid identifier. Okay, otherwise you can see L9B, it's a valid. Don't use this digits as the first character. Okay, first you have to mention other characters only. Okay, don't use the other, don't begin with a digit. And the next one is they can be of any length. Okay, so any length, lengthy words you can specify. Okay, so if I wrote whether this one is a valid identifier according to the rules, specified built-in words, if, else, do, like that way words are not there, true, false, null, like that way words are not there, so that two rules are satisfied. Next one, only these characters we can use, isn't it? First letter should begin not begin with a digit. We are not begin with a digit, so that rule also okay. But these characters only we can use. Any length, that is also here lengthy one, but no problem, any length you can mention. But here this one is an invalid identifier. Why? Because in between of this particular word we give a space. That particular character space, that is space bar key, if we press, that particular character is not comes under in this group. So this one is an invalid identifier. Okay, so only these characters, capital letter and small letter, alphabets and underscore, dollar key and digits from 0 to 9. This much only you can use. Other than any other characters you can't use while creating an identifier. And the last one is Java is case sensitive. That means if you write this length in a small letter, system will take a Java program. In the Java program it will take as one identifier. If you wrote the same word in capital letter, this is also correct and it will treat as another name for an identifier. Okay, not it will be same, it will treat as another identifier, two separate identifiers it will treat. Okay, so in a Java program, if you want to create your own any words for storing a data or functions, classes, that you all will study that particular words. If you are hearing, you will think of what these all. Don't worry, that we will study later. So if you want to create your own words, if you want to specify that particular names, we are calling it as an identifier. Hope you all clear this one. Okay, very important one. Whenever you create, you have to follow these rules for creating an identifier. Okay, so let's move to the here in your textbook. Here they are given the following are some valid identifiers are given here and invalid identifiers also given here. So look on exam, like that way also questions will be asked valid and you have to find out the valid and invalid identifiers. Okay, so we can move to the next component is literals. Okay, next component of a program is literals. That value we are giving to an identifier or a variable, that is known as literals. Okay, so here if we are giving this length equal to 2 and breadth equal to 5, if it is, the value here for this identifier we gave the value for the data 2. And here we gave 5. So these two are the literals here. Three types of literals you can use in a Java program, that is integer literals, real literals and string literals. Okay, three different literals you can use. The first one is integer literals. Nothing, if you are using this 2, 5, any digits without decimal point, then then it will be treated as an integer literals. Okay, and while if you are writing a particular number, you can specify positive or negative, isn't it? So that also will be considered as a integer literals. If it is positive 12, negative 5, both are a valid literals. Okay, if you give a particular value 5.2, it's not a integer literal, valid integer literal, not rated as an integer literal. Okay, so integer literals means particular number without decimal point that will be treated as an integer literals. Here valid and invalid literals are given in your textbook. Just read that example. Okay, so next one is real literals. That means if you want to give a decimal point value, that type of numbers, that type of literals are known as real literals or floating point literals. Okay, so throughout programming we are using these type of terms. So be careful. Real, floating, which means decimal point values, we are calling it as a real numbers or floating point numbers. So here if you are writing 5.2, this is an real literal. Okay, and before the specifying this one also, you can mention either it is positive or negative also. Okay, and the next one is string literals. String literals means if you are specifying a particular word in a double quotes, that word is known as string literals. If you want to give a name, here we wrote an identifier name, and for that name if you want to store a data, any name if you are giving, and if you wrote this particular name in a double quotes, it will be treated as a string literal. So whatever it is, if you are mentioning or denoting with a double quotes, you can call it as a string literals. Okay. So here examples are given here, that is valid string literals and invalid string literals are given here. Okay, if it is a single quotes, it won't be treated as a string literal. Whatever it is, if we mention inside a double quotes, that will be treated as a string literals. Okay, and one more is there, that is character literals. That is, if it is a single character, if you want to give as a value or a data for a particular identifier or a variable, that is known as character literal. And the speciality is, if you are specifying a character literal, you have to put inside a single quotes. Okay, so if you are specifying a value inside a single quotes, that is known as character literals. Okay, so if it is double quote, string literal, if it is in a single quote, you can call it as a character literals. Got it? And one exceptional case is there, that is escape sequences. That is, in computer, you know the case spacebar is there, tab key is there, isn't it? So while writing a program in an output and all or a message, if you want to give a space or a tab key operation, if you want to specify, you can use some combination of two characters. That is, if you are giving a slash t, backslash t, if you are specifying in a single inverted comma, here we gave two characters, not a single character, we are giving inside a single quote, two characters we give, isn't it? So this one is an exceptional case. This also we will call it as a character literal. It will treat like a tab key. Okay, slash t, which means tab key. The process behind, if you give the slash t, it will give a space, that is tab key perform. That same action will be there in that program. Okay. Okay, so these are about literals. Hope you are clear what this identifier means and literals means. Okay, so next variables, operators and commands are there that we can that we can discuss in next class. Otherwise, with all these components, you may get confused. So, we can wind up the session. So, read the lesson carefully and find out some identifiers and literals. Okay, valid identifiers and valid literals. Okay, so thank you. Have a nice day.